Hello, once again, YouTube and Facebook. Sorry, I just wanted to have to start over. Um, anyway, I'm going to be talking about my Gravekeepers, which has one non-Gravekeeper card in it. Um, monster-wise, of course, but Dark Armed, official gold edition. Yes, I'm very attached to it. Um, I'm sure everyone knows what it does. You have to have exactly three. I say exactly three or more dark monsters in your graveyard, so you can summon this guy out, remove one, and destroy a card on the field. And yes, I have a special attachment to it because hello. Anyway, and then Gravekeeper Priestess sort of acts as Necro Valley if Necro Valley is not on the field. Um, Basically a 200 attack and defense boost for all Gravekeepers. Of course, it took me forever to persuade Derek to let me trade for these. Two Gravekeeper Recruiters. Once these are destroyed, you can search through your deck through to summon out a Gravekeeper with 1500 or less defense, um, and which I think is kind of interesting. Um, and there's Chief, which I'm not really sure I get the point behind, but excuse me. You can only have one face up on the other side of the field at any time. As long as this card remains face up on the field, your graveyard is not affected by Necro Valley. When you tribute summon this monster, you can special summon one monster that includes Gravekeepers and its card name from your graveyard. So, say you had Chief on the field, and you had to tribute a Recruiter for it. You can automatically bring up, and you automatically get Recruiter's effect, and you go through your deck, and then you can bring Recruiter back, and if that's Recruiter is destroyed again, you can get its effect again, which I think is absolutely hilarious. But hey, it works. Um, Up next, I only run two of these in this deck. Um, Gravekeeper Visionary. I can normal summon this card by tributing one Gravekeeper monster. It gains 200 attack for each Gravekeeper monster in my graveyard. This face-up card on the field will be destroyed. You can discard one Gravekeeper card instead, or one Gravekeeper monster instead. So instead of losing a potentially high-ass freaking beat stick, I can just say, hey, look, I'll get rid of Recruiter. Say I have Recruiter in my hand. I'm going to get Recruiter's effect, and I can bring out, say, Defendant, of which I have three, and then I can just use, Defendant's effect. You contribute one face-up Gravekeeper monster you control, except this card to destroy one card your opponent controls. So, if I have more than just, this one Gravekeeper than just Descendant on the field, then I can tribute that one and destroy a monster on the monster. Oh, I didn't destroy one card. So if my opponent has a monster on their side of the field, I can automatically use Descendant's effect and say, okay, I decided to destroy that monster. Um, Now the reason behind this one's attribute, I have no idea because it's not dark. Commandant, I have no idea why it's not dark because all the other Gravekeepers are dark. But anyway, it's the only Earth attribute Gravekeeper. Um, you can discard this card from the graveyard to add one Necro Valley from your deck to your hand. So if you haven't drawn a Necro Valley, then oh well, you still got frickin' Priestess for the 200 attack and defense boost. Um, but hey, whatever floats for you, you know. Up next, the three assailants. Yes, I do have three assailants. If Necro Valley's on the field, you can change the battle position one face-up monster your opponent controls. Um, so, say you do have Necro Valley face-up on the field. Assailant can attack a monster, change its battle position, and potentially destroy that monster, but I could be wrong, depending on how much attack the defending monster has when its position is changed. So, yeah. Um, Now this next one is one of the obviously better defenders. Um, so you always And just make sure you always put a face down defense first before you actually go off and do anything stupid. Spy. I'm sure everyone knows what Spy does. Um, Flip effect. Special summon one Gravekeeper's monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck. So this can bring out either Guard or Recruiter, and therefore Recruiter can bring out, say, Sender. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my mind. It's still way too early. And then the last monster, which again, another one I'm rather fond of, is Guard. Another well-to-do defender. Another flip effect. Select one monster your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So say they have a Dark Armed Dragon of their own, and they already moved all their dark monsters out of their graveyard. So they gotta wait a few more turns in order to get those 3 dark monsters back into the graveyard before they can summon Dark Armed again. Which I find absolutely amazing. Yeah, I love Dark Armed Dragon for that effect. And, hello, mostly Darks, Commanded being the only Earth attribute. So anyway, on to the spells. Necro Valley, I'm sure everyone knows what Necro Valley is. Nobody can remove anything from either graveyard. As long as this card remains face up on the field, all effects of spell trap and or effect monsters that involve graveyards are negated, and neither player can remove cards in the graveyards from play. In addition, increase the attack and defense of all monsters that include Gravekeepers in their card names by 500 points. So this is like a 500 attack and defense boost compared to the Priestess ability of 200 attack and defense boost. But still, they get a boost. Book of Moon, I'm sure everyone knows what that does. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can flip this up and make that monster go face on defense. MST, this one's obvious. Swords, of course. Now, most of you may understand why I do this, most of you may not. But Pot of Avarice. So if I don't have any Necro Valley on the field and I have 5 monsters in my graveyard, then Pot of Avarice comes in handy. Giant Trinade, everyone knows what that does. Allure of Darkness, I'm pretty sure a lot of you who run dark decks know what this does. Draw 2 cards and remove and play 1 dark monster from your hand. If you do not have any dark monsters in your hand to remove, send all cards in your hand to the graveyard. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense, but 9 times out of 10, I am definitely going to be drawing a dark monster. 3 Gravekeeper Steel. I say Steel. Derek says Spell. Whatever. Select 2 Gravekeeper's monsters in your graveyard and add them to your hand. Now be negated by the effect of Necro Valley. So if Necro Valley is on the field, then Gravekeeper's Spell cannot be affected by it. Magic Cylinder, everyone knows what that does. Rite of Spirit, select 1 monster that includes Gravekeepers and its card name from your graveyard, special summon in face of attack or defense. This card's activation effect is not affected by Necro Valley. So I can bring back either a Guard or a Spy because of their defense power, which is amazing, by the way. Even without the help of Necro Valley, you still get really good defense power from both of them. Mirror Force, I'm sure everyone knows what that is. Raigeki Break, discard a card, destroy 1 card on the field. Trap Hole. If the attack of a monster summoned by your opponent, not including special summon, is 1,000 points or more, the monster is destroyed. It's into the graveyard. And last but not least, of course, Dark Illusion. Negate the activation of a spell trap or effect monster's effect that targets the face of dark monster to destroy that card. So if someone decides to go all out and, want to take out one of my Gravekeepers with a dark attribute, not including commanded, of course, they're just like, okay, Dark Illusion, and Their card is destroyed and my card is safe. So, yay! I finally got my Gravekeepers done. Yay! It took me like 3 years, I think. Um, alright, fine, a year and a half. But it took me less time to get my Cloudians together than it did my Gravekeepers. But I love my Gravekeeper nonetheless. So peace out, people.